Well, I want to say welcome to Finding Your Way to the Family Podcast Network. I am the CEO and founder, Trey Gibson of the Family Podcast Network. I want to tell you guys a little bit about what is it. Some of you guys may have some questions. What exactly is it? What exactly is it that this guy believes? First off, we have the fundamental belief that we want to sit down and work with parents, come up with real ways and real strategies to work with our kids to figure out how to live a parenting life where we're not ready to pull our hair out. I promise that this is not representative of the results you'll receive. I shave my head naturally. This is not falling out because of my kids. What we do is we want to, at Family Podcast Network, we offer you guys 5 podcasts per week on various topics. They can be topics that I'm seeing in the media. They can be topics that we frequently need to discuss as parents and even rediscuss throughout the years as we go. And then it's also some listener feedback, phone calls that I'll get that I'll record and we'll answer, interviews that we're going to have from specialists that are going to come in. As well as maybe just, Trey, what do I do? Emails and those types of things. We want to offer those out to you guys as always. My goal when I do FPN is to be fun, entertaining, enjoyable. We want to make sure, there's a lot of folks out there that are teaching parenting stuff, but let's be honest, they're boring or they're personally based in all situations and they haven't looked at the research. We want to make sure that we can balance all of those in so that way you know I'm getting good information from FPN that is research based in most cases, as well as let's do it in a way where we don't feel bored at the end of it and we're ready to X out of it. So that's kind of our basic goal. So again, we want to bring informative information that's research-based. We want to remove all of the jargon or the vernacular, all the wording that sounds a little too clinical and overly complicated to understand. That's kind of one of our primary goals. FPN's attitude is one of non-judgment. If good parenting or bad parenting was contingent on how good or how bad we do, or the amount of good choices and the amount of bad choices that we make as parents, we're all messed up. We're all screwed. That's just the way it is. Human nature is that we fail, we mess up from time to time. So the purpose behind FPN is to not bring out and talk about what you're messing up. It's about teaching how to grow and learn more. Let's see, the daily family podcast that you guys will be getting. All of Monday through Friday, I will be putting out podcasts every single day throughout the week. One of the things that I will guarantee is that those podcasts will always stay free. The reason behind that is that I want to make sure that the information is getting to everybody. I will only do donation and membership-based services when it comes to Family Podcast Network. You will never be asked or charged a dime for any of the information that you get under any circumstances for as long as I have this podcast up under my control and jurisdiction. They will always be completely free. We are always going to be looking for new ways to get better at what we're doing, whether it be discipline, relationships, child development, and all those different types of issues. Whatever it is that's going to make parenting easier, I want to talk about it. Let's talk about our philosophy real quick and then we'll wrap it up on this. Our philosophy is the motto of this. The key to good behavior, and behavior being how do our kids act. The key to getting our kids to act the way we want them to is based off of this word right here. And the word is relationship. Right? Understand. Now, don't hear me wrong. A lot of people say, oh, you're one of those touchy-feel-goody, you just hug them and kiss them and they turn out fine. Most certainly that is not the way I'm saying here. Family Podcast Network believes in setting boundaries with kids and having consequences. We do believe in that. However, Family Podcast Network emphasizes that if there is no relationship between you and your kid, in reality, we're not really teaching them anything. Even when we practice our discipline and consequences and all those other kinds of techniques, if the relationship is not there, then the bottom line is the discipline won't work. Think about it with that boss that you've had that's amazing, who respects you, who treats you right, even when you messed up. Right, and they treat you respectfully, were you more or less likely to obey and do what that boss said and asked from you? More than likely, you were more likely to do it because they were respectful. Parenting is the same thing. We always tell our kids, you've got to earn my respect. However, we rarely ever stop to think to ourselves, we've got to earn our kids' respect as well. So that's one of the main primary things right there. A lot of parents have adopted this idea that as long as I can get my kids out of the house, still alive, and I'm not dead and they're not dead, then they say, well, that's successful parenting. I wholeheartedly say I disagree. One of the number one enemies to excellence in parenting is just being a good parent. And that's not enough. And I say that. It can be enough to get them out of the house and alive, but what if it could be more? What if there could be more that you enjoyed to it? What if you could have more fun doing parenting? What if you could have it even better? A lot of parents see parenting as like an arduous task that you do that is painful and it's hard, and you get to the end and you're just kind of like, oh, thank God, I am finally done. Right? So it's this difficult, dreaded task with these sprinklings of joy, those little joyous moments, right? Again, I respectfully say I disagree. Family Podcast Network is created with the belief that we can have a parenting style that can be joyous, fun, where we look forward to our kids in the evenings. Our kids look forward to us coming home. And it only be sprinkled with those little dreaded moments. That's what FPN is built upon, is the idea that we can attain and reach that no matter where you came from, no matter what kind of parents you have been or have had yourself. You can be one of those parents in the long run that does this. So think about it like this. The issue lies in parenting technique, not the parenting itself, right? Like, for instance, in golf. Let's say a person has had no formal training in golf, and they go out and they swing, and they have a crappy golf swing, right? They can't ever hit the ball. They don't ever hit. If they do, it hits into the sand trap or the water hazard or whatever else, right? So they say, then they might say, well, then golf sucks. Does golf suck? No. What sucks is that their swing has a lack of technique, and because they have a lack of technique in their golf swing, it makes it crappy to play golf. Parents try to do the same thing with parenting because their technique is bad. It's not that they're bad parents. They love their kids. They enjoy their kids. They love having their kids. But because their technique is bad, they cannot wait to get to that 6 o'clock p.m. To where they can put them in bed, or 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, whenever you put your kids to bed. They just can't wait for that. I understand. I've had those days. And even practicing the best of the best, you'll still have those days. But what I'm talking about is minimizing it to where that is the rarity. And it is possible. So restated, our parenting techniques make parenting sucky. Right? The parenting techniques that we're practicing is what makes parenting sucky, not parenting itself. So we firmly believe here at Family Podcast Network that parenting can be improved just like anything else. Just like your typing speed on a computer, just like riding a bike, or even learning calculus. Parenting can get better once you practice and hone the technique. And Family Podcast is specifically created for, let's talk about that. Let's get these issues out there. Let's learn how to get better at this parenting stuff. And as such, we can live a better life where we're not nearly as stressed and where we're happier as parents. Again, I want to say thank you for coming to Family Podcast Network. Feel free, make yourself at home. We need folks to sit down and start talking and to visit and say, I need advice about, we need help with. So you've got to the right place. Appreciate you guys, and as always, we'll see you on